Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date, it is January 6th of 2021. Uh, sort of a sad day for me. This is the iPad uh, mini that I ordered from Amazon. Well, it's in the box. I'm I'm sending it back. I've had it for about 24 hours. I ordered it, first Apple device I've ever had. I ordered it and it was delayed getting here, which it really didn't bother me. And I definitely did not, I never blame the shipper. I mean, I never blame Amazon or whoever when something's delayed. This, I was looking forward to it, but it was, and, uh, but then it got supposed to arrive, and then it was in Texas, but apparently at I think Wilmar, Texas or something. I don't know where that is, and just sat there for, I don't know, 24 hours or something, and then it had to be sent back. I'm not sure if it was to Wilmar. No, I guess it got sent back, and then instead of going to Wilmar again, thank goodness, it went to wherever the place is for Fort Worth and Dallas area. And then so then at this point I got kind of, okay, excited. I got it, it's coming. And it was supposed to be delivered on whatever day that was. Sunday, it was supposed to be delivered on a Sunday by the post office, and there was a contract with, I guess, the Amazon. But so I was waiting for it, and then all of a sudden it showed that attempted delivery was made. The pathway and the driveway were not accessible. This is a gated community, but the post office, now maybe, I don't know how it works on a Sunday, whether they're not using the people from the local, I don't know how that works. But apparently, the people that deliver every day here, the post office people, they have the gate code, they know the gate code. But anyway, so then it went back to be delivered the next day, which was Monday. Today is what, Tuesday? No, it's Wednesday. So it was delivered Monday. And so the package came. Okay, so it would be, I'm probably going to get these time. The point is, I spent over 12 hours trying to get this thing to work the right way. It came, and I went through this. I took it out. First time I've ever actually held an Apple device, wow. And then just doing it a little bit, signing in, setting it up. By the way, I watched a ton. I watched a ton of YouTube videos. In the beginning, it was about multiple, because I hadn't made up my mind which Apple device I was going to get. And then once I made up my mind on the Apple iPad mini, I watched every video, one after another of it. And let me say that not one person, every one of those people said, if they, of course some of them didn't mention it, but if they did, how easy and simple it was to just set up the Apple device. It was just a breeze. It was so simple. So I was looking forward to that. And I was able to transfer over from my Android phone a bunch of information. I had the app on here that says, transfer to whatever it says, iOS or something, and laid them down next to each other. My Motorola G stylus next to the iPad, and data was transferred over. Neat, contact list, that type of stuff. Not everything, but that was great. Uh, when I went through the settings on the thing, there were, well, one I noticed right away, just after a short period of time, that I have arthritis really bad, in addition to some other things, but arthritis, uh, right away, man. Uh, I thought using this device is going to be a problem. But, I have a thing to put it on, not for that, not an Apple thing, but I have a thing to set it on like that. I have another little metal thing that I see a lot of YouTubers when they were talking about their uh, Apple Mini, that they set it, the very same one on that. But I also ordered in right away then uh, a cable. Of course, what I did not like on this thing is the lightning thing port. But anyway, I ordered in so I could hook it to my monitor, and I already have a keyboard that I have never used, Bluetooth keyboard, had a long time. I have a mouse. I'm not using it right now. I switched it again, but the Logitech mouse, where it uses the dongle and it'll support up to 3 different things. So I could be using my computer, and I could be using the on the app on that type of stuff. So I was making arrangements and thought, okay, I'll just take my naproxen more often for the arthritis. So when I went through the settings, there was a bunch of settings, and it was a little bit difficult. Of course, I was adjusting the screen, the size of the things, everything to make it, because I have a little vision problem, being old and haven't had my eyes tested in a long time. Because I'm not driving, don't have a car. Um, Driver's license is expired. I have a state ID, not one of the approved state IDs, by the way, with what star on it, that starting in October you really need to have if you want to get into a government building or do any flying or whatever. You're not going to be able to without an approved license ID. But so I finally started skipping some things. One thing I skipped was um, what do they call that? Oh, Apple Pay or whatever. I skipped that to come back to it later. So then then everything is set up, and I start adjusting the settings and that type of stuff. And then, of course, I pay for LastPass. You can use them for free. Password Manager, an excellent one. Now there's a whole bunch of other companies that are also apparently excellent that have joined LastPass, or not joined with them, but they're separate. But anyway, I use LastPass. Like I said, you can use them for free. If you pay a small amount of money, I forget what it is, $29 a year or something like that, maybe $20 a year, whatever it is, you get some extra benefits. I pay it, but I don't know what the extra benefits are, and I never use them. I just use LastPass for the thing, but I support them anyway. And all my life I've supported, a lot of people, especially my age, but people who remember before the World Wide Web, or maybe in the very beginning, there's an awful lot of people, and they still have that philosophy of the internet should be free. I shouldn't be paying for this yearly fee, or I shouldn't be paying a monthly fee or whatever. I haven't had a problem with, from the very beginning, I donated money to other people writing stuff. The first guy who I'm not sure it was the first guy to do a webcam program, first that I know about, and I was, he was working on a webcam program, and I was using it, and he had a thing on there, I think a donation or a donation, I think, because he wasn't, you could use it for free. And there was no PayPal then. I wrote out a check and mailed it to him. And when he got home from work that day, his wife had been telling him that, he was wasting his time. Nobody was going to pay him for his software and that type of stuff. And he came home, opened up the mailbox, a check, and he went in there and it said, I don't know what he said, but he said, somebody paid me, I got money for it. And he had her sit down and logged into where, she could see me using his software. He went on, by the way, to actually sell his I don't know whether he was joking or not. He went on to sell his to a company, and it was boxed up. The only one that I know of. Maybe there may be others, but boxed up. I forget the name of it. And it was in stores where you could, go in and buy the software. In fact, when I was I've been here, 10 years? Yeah. When I was in Miami working at CompUSA, it was the only webcam program that was there. There were webcams, all kinds. But anyway, he joking, I don't know whether he was joking or not. He said, well, my wife and I are retiring, and I think he was probably joking, but that was the end of him. I mean, he quit and moved on to something else. Anyway, my point being, have no problem paying for stuff, and I've made donations to people for stuff that I liked or used or to help them out, that type of stuff. So anyway, I go to the Apple, which I was looking forward to, going to the Apple store. Of course, that's what I've heard bad things about, that they rip off people who put apps in there, people who write things or companies, and that they have that really it's pretty intense. I've heard a lot of bad things about that, but I don't have any problem paying. So I went to get LastPass, which is free, but like I said, but I went to get LastPass, and then, okay, it said, you have to have Apple Pay. You have to, although it wasn't a pay thing. I was going to download LastPass because it knows all my passwords and stuff, and then I would have gone, and things that I needed to pay for, I would have paid for. I was prepared to pay for stuff that I needed to pay for. But there was things like, I don't use it, I pay for Office 365, all of those things. I never use them. I did use Outlook Express for years and years and years, but really don't use them, but I still pay them every month. And that will run on Apple. You can use it through Apple. So I eventually would have got the apps for that and stuff. Wouldn't have had to pay because I pay for it, independently, not through. But so anyway, I go and try to get LastPass. It says, okay, well, see, did I put that someplace where I can't get to it? It's way over there. Anyway, so I go to the Apple App Store, and you have to log in with the App Store, with the whatever, I forget what they called it, thing. So I entered in, the username, password, that type of stuff. Wouldn't let me in. It just kept popping up like the password was not, good. I mean, they weren't accepting it. I'd entered it in, but when I go to that, and it just, for hours and hours I went through, I changed the password. Maybe there's something wrong with their password, thing that, it tells you have to have 8 characters. Okay, I had more than 8 characters to begin with. Have to have some that are upper, lowercase, and a number, and I had all that to begin with in the very beginning, but I kept making changes to that. Nothing. And we're talking, I got that Monday, I guess it was, at 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. And at 3 a.m. in the morning, I spent hours just trying to get that taken care of. Then of course I figured out, well, uh, finally about that time, I wasn't thinking really good, was I? I finally did a Google search with the thing that was coming back to me. You have to have blah, 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 you know. Uh, oh, okay. Oh, so I did a search, and there's page after page of people having the very same problem I'm having, the identical problem, getting the identical message saying, help, how do I do this? And then people said, oh, well, you have to fill out the Apple Pay and you have to put in the credit card information. And so I go in and put credit card information in. Still nothing doesn't work. Uh, Other people then said, okay, well, the way I did, I couldn't get it to work either, and I tried for, blah, blah, blah. So I went to iTunes and I signed up for iTunes. And then when I went to go into the App Store, it used the iTunes sign up, which I guess is probably identical to it used that. And I go, okay, so I went in and I signed up for iTunes, bang, or whatever. Although, no, I tried to sign up and I get the same message on the iTunes. Well, the last line was, like whatever it says. Uh, Whatever it says. Got that way over there. The thing at the end of the line was iTunes, you can't log into iTunes because it doesn't really give up. So that doesn't work. So I tried a few more things, and then I made a video. And I raved and ranted and called upon God to smash Apple, to destroy them or whatever. I did one of my history things. Before there was an Apple, before there was a whatever, I was doing such and such, and the people that had Apple computers were all assholes and pricks, and wouldn't allow other people to use their bulletin board system. I had a bulletin board system before they did, and I allowed everybody to use it. I didn't kick out anybody. They locked out anybody. Uh, some of these people, and not just the Apple people when it came to this other thing, some of these people went down to like a computer store, and if somebody would be in there and they'd be looking at the Apple people would go in, but the other people do the same thing. The Apple people would be in the computer store and somebody would be looking at an Atari or can't remember the names of all the different computers that were back then. Anyway, Radio Shack, Apple, Atari. Oh man, mine's gone. Anyway, whole that TI. Somebody would be standing there and looking at, let's say, a Radio Shack, computer, or as the Apple people call them, Trash 80. Actually, I think everybody that wasn't a Radio Shack user probably called them Trash 80. Commodore, that Commodore 64. I had Commodore 64s. I had like 5 or 6 of them. I had one for the BBS for years that worked great. I had one that I just did word processing on. I had another one sitting there where I wouldn't have to change the cartridge, and my kids could play games, all that kind of stuff. But what people would do, okay, like somebody's in a computer store looking at, say, a Radio Shack or an Atari or a Texas Instrument or whatever it was, and an Apple person would come in, to the customer, come in. You don't want that. That's trash. You need an Apple computer. But now sometimes other people did that kind of stuff too. There's a documentary, you can watch it on YouTube, at 6 or 7 let's see, we could do that. We're not going to look at it, don't worry, but I'm actually in the documentary. Now we want to go to YouTube. We don't even need to do that. See, YouTube. Okay. Here it is, BBS the documentary. You can watch it for free. I'm in there, but I'm in there only for a very few times. I get the biggest laugh, though. I went out to the, what do you call it, the premiere in California at the computer museum out there. And the Jason Scott, the director, producer, whatever of the thing, said, "Oh, Jim," now this was, he hadn't burned the DVDs yet. It was showing the thing, premiere. And he said, "Jim, now I can change it. But you get the biggest laugh of the thing." I said, I didn't even know what it was. I said, "I don't care. You know, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I don't care what it is. I don't care if people laugh at me or with me or whatever." And he said, "Oh, okay." So sure enough, my daughter and her husband were there because they were living in California at the time. They met me, and we all heard the laugh, you know. But the point being, oh, on there, the various systops talk about stuff that some of them did to other. Well, I don't think this was a person himself confessing, but I think it was like his brother or somebody. They went into, they wasn't a computer store, it might have been a Radio Shack or someplace like that. And I think that's the first time these people seen a mouse. And anyway, the guy had, of course, a mouse hooked up, and he's whatever, and they stole the mouse, you know, to keep the thing from working. And sure enough, the guy didn't have a mouse, and I guess he was telling people that came in or online or something, he would say, "Please, please, whoever took the mouse, we can't use the computer because somebody took the mouse." And they thought that was, you know, funny, but also a little bit of sabotage to things. So I've been around a while, but so I tried everything, and then I made a video, that's right, where I was raving and ranting, like I am worse. I mean, I was pissed at Apple because of their, but like I said, everybody, I didn't see one YouTube video that I watched, and I don't know how many I watched. I wish I had $1 for every, if I had $1 for every one of the YouTube videos I watched about the various Apple computers, I'd probably had $1,000. I probably could go buy $1,000 Apple, which I wouldn't now. I wouldn't have then either. But anyway, I made this video. Ooh, screaming about, and then I decided not to upload it, and so I'm uploading this instead. So I am returning this. Apple's really good, or Apple, I mean, as you know, Amazon is really good about this. Oh, by the way, I also ordered 3 or 4 things because I was going to make do with this. I mean, it was hurting my arthritis by looking down, but I was going to hook it to my monitor mainly, and occasionally I would, you know, disconnect it and whatever. And I ordered a cable to hook it to a monitor, and I already had the mouse and that I needed, and a keyboard that would work, Bluetooth, all that kind of stuff. So I was going to make do with it, but when I could not get into their Apple store and even start getting, you know, apps, I just contacted, you know, Amazon, said I am returning it, and then I was able to stop the orders on most of the other things that I had coming in. I got the styluses, that's fine. I'll probably use this. I can use styluses with this, you know, although there's a, you know, stylus. Comes right out of this, my cell phone. So VitalNet was really a great, that, in this documentary, those, like I said, I had a little tiny part. Most all of the, well, all of the people that were interviewed by Jason Scott, he traveled all over the United States and recorded this himself. He was a cameraman, the audio man. In fact, my interview, you'll see me in Carrollton, Texas at that time, and in the background you will see a monitor and a keyboard or whatever. And as he was making the interviewing me, the video was going out, but not the audio. From on my BBS was going out live, streaming. I've told this story before, but I kind of like it, and it kind of gives you an idea. You probably already know this. When Jason set up his professional camera, when he pulled up, to Carrollton or whatever, I went out to help him, and he had, the big, camera, what do you call it? Anyway, he said, I'll carry it. It's expensive, But we went in. Eventually, we ordered pizza. I ordered pizza and stuff. And so, but anyway, he starts, he has a light set up, mic's turned on, camera's turned on, and he says, okay. And so then I started talking, and I kept talking, and then I thought to myself, I guess, maybe he wants to ask a question. So I said, Jason, maybe there's something you'd like to ask me. And he said, wow. And he said, that's never happened before. And remember, he'd been all over the United States interviewing. And I said, what? And he says, you just talked nonstop for 45 minutes. I didn't get a chance to ask a question. I said, oh, I'm sorry. And he said, no. He said, that's something. Jason released a few of because he interviewed people for like an hour, 2 or 3 hours. He interviewed me for 3 hours. And he has all that video. And he released a few of the videos, and you can probably find those on YouTube. So, hour interview with somebody or an hour and a half or whatever. But he told me, I didn't ask, he said, Jim, yours is the next video that I'm going to release. And I thought, great. And I think by that time, I had a YouTube site, I think. And I thought, wow, I'm going to have a 3-hour video. Maybe I could break it up into 3 parts or something. I'm going to have a 3-hour video. And he never released my video, and he never released any other videos. And so then I was thinking, let's see, what did I say? Oh, shit, yeah. What I said wasn't anything wrong with it, but he might have worried about it, So, bummer. I sure would like to have that video, and especially now. It would be just great. And to go back and pull out some of those clips. Anyway, this is going back, I'm sure you'll probably return something. I printed out the return label. I've returned a few things to Amazon, and for one reason or another, when they've come to pick it up, I'm taking to 3 blocks away to a CVS store. When UPSs come to the door to pick up something, when they scan it immediately before they get it, the money went into my, the refund would go into my bank. So I'm guessing approximately probably the same thing will happen. I'll get credit. No more Apple computers for me, and probably no more. Of course, I have the Amazon. That's over there too. Which I never really use. So that's it. I really was looking forward to using iMovie and some of those other, because I watched, like I said, all these videos, watched people editing and things, and I thought this is going to be really great. I own a bunch of, by the way, for the last couple of weeks, my computer, Windows 10 computer, has been trying to update this 2020-12. Let's see, maybe I need to move this over here. My video might be on top of it, my picture. It's been trying to update the 2020-12 cumulative, I guess that's 2020-12 being December. Cumulative update for Windows 10 version 20H2. It goes through installing, and then it comes around and says they couldn't install, so we're now removing the things that they had, the changes they had been made. Now I've got, I don't know how to remove this Apple USB device thing that can come off. I don't know how to remove that. But there's a NVIDIA, which I have an NVIDIA card that needs to be. Anyway, so I'm having trouble getting this, and my computer's been acting a little weird, but I think it's acting weird because these things are here now, especially this one is there, but I guess Windows 10 is coming out soon, sometime I think in this year, maybe the first part of the year I'm thinking. They're coming out, and it's supposed to be some pretty massive changes to Windows 10 to give it a new look, a new feel, and whatever. Anyway, there's not enough data, or there's not enough of me in this documentary I could go in and take out my part and put them together. But there's not enough. It'd be like, if I put them all together, my 3 or 4 comments would probably not, wouldn't account to 2 minutes worth or something, so it's not worth doing it. But anyway, okay, I've calmed down now, and I didn't like myself last night when I was screaming, calling down upon, smite Apple computer, destroy them. To hell with their founder and saint. He's already destroyed, but I was not proud of myself, and so this is a better way to go. And I was looking forward to using an Apple computer and learning, and I was looking forward to showing you things that I was finding out, simple, basic things, because that would help some people, not the vast majority of Apple users. They'd be like, you didn't know that, or you couldn't figure that out, or whatever. I figured it'd be kind of I'd tell what I learned, and then at the same time I'd be telling, hey, I have a problem. Then Apple people would be saying, oh, Jim, here's all you need to do. But that's not to be, so I don't know what, by the way, they're having this thing, a joint session of Congress today, and then that should be the end of it, except we just don't know what President Trump is going to do for the next 2 weeks or whatever of his time. But I do want to stop talking about politics, and I know you don't want to hear any more about it, and so I'm hoping after today, it may take another, because Trump may do some scary stuff. I don't know what, I think he's mentally unbalanced, and so we don't know what's going to happen, but I'm hoping that when Biden takes office, I can just stop talking about politics, because I know you don't want to hear about it, and I don't want to hear about it. But anyway, it looks like the Democrats may be taking control of the Senate, so it's going to be, the judicial branch. Well, the judicial branch is actually, Trump appointed, what was it, 3 or 4 Supreme Court justices? I think it's 3. Well, anyway, the executive branch of the government will be the Democrats in control, and the House of Representatives is already, you know, the majority is the Democrats controlling it, and it looks like the Senate may have, it's actually going to be like 50-50, but then the vice president, who will be, a Democrat, would be the deciding vote. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I ought to take my blood pressure, see how high my blood pressure went over this. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.